Bleeding Purple Podcast.
Deep Brown steps up in the pocket. He'll fire to the right side. Caught by Diggs. Stay on. Oh my God! 30, no tag. Are you kidding me? The finish in the Minneapolis way. Stephon Diggs and the Minnesota Vikings have walked off on the New Orleans Saints. It's a 61-yard Minneapolis miracle. I can't believe what I just saw. What an unbelievable play.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in to Bleeding Purple, a podcast about the Minnesota Vikings. My name is Tyler Haig, and I'm joined as always by Mr. Adam Patrick. Hello, good sir.
What's up?
Before we get going on training camp, real quick, coaching stuff after the, Tony Sparano tragedy deal. The Vikings are going to go with a co-offensive line coach. It'll be Clancy Barone and Andrew Janocko. How do you say it? Do you know? Janocko.
Tomato.
I'm going to go Yannicko with a soft J.
All right.
So Andrew Yannicko and Clancy Barone. Andrew, we'll just call him Andrew. Andrew was Sparano's right-hand man. He'd been there the whole time. That he's a younger dude, but he was Sparano's guy. And Clancy Barone was the tight ends coach. He now moves to offensive line. He had been an offensive line coach previously with Denver when they won the Super Bowl most recently. So he's not...
It's pretty good.
Yeah, not a bad resume to have. So that's not crazy for them to promote him. And then new tight ends coach will now be Todd Downing, who was a senior offensive assistant, who is a name a lot of us from Minnesota are familiar with because he's a one of us guy. He's an Eden Prairie dude and spent time with the Vikings previously. So Adam, what do you make of all of this? This makes sense, right? For them to promote in-house. We kind of discussed it last week.
Yeah, it does. It's a lot of shuffling. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we did talk about it last week, and I think this was one of the scenarios we talked about where it could be. I thought that they might pick Clancy Barone to move as the offensive line coach because of his experience, and then move someone into his position as a tight ends coach, because I don't think any NFL team has someone doing offensive line and tight ends. It's just too much work for one assistant to do. But no, I'm fine with their decision to go with both of them because it allows them to continue, working on what they were working on with Sparano and keeping that in for at least this season. And then, when the season's over, then they'll, see if they want to retain one of them or...
That was my biggest take from it, was the technique is staying the same, and the technique that they've been taught for the last however many, 2 years or however long he'd been there. I think that's important. That would have been a pretty big reset to
I don't know how much coaching helps offensive line, but I mean, I'm sure there's aspects of it, like to put your hand in a certain height or whatever,
and what have you.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think it's as impactful as, say, like a quarterback's coach or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then they're all set. There was somebody that they reportedly talked to.
That was going to be my next question. Would you have preferred they bring in Mike Tice, who they had reached out to, or it was reported you saw that, right?
Yeah, I think Ian Rappaport reported that.
I don't know how I feel about that, but would you have wanted them to go? Would you rather Tice than this option, or do you think this is the best option? Yeah, I agree completely. I think you got to go. The train's moving, man.
Even if Zimmer was like, "Oh, I want to keep it the same," I think Tice is the kind of guy that's like, "Well, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna do it my way." Maybe he's changed, but I don't think so.
I was also reading that the reason he retired, or one of the bigger reasons he retired, is because players don't want to be coached anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Which just screams like, "Oh, dinosaur, get out of the league!"
Yeah, he was with what? Well, he was on the same staff as Todd Downing for the past couple of years with the Raiders, so they have that familiarity. But yeah, his last tenure with Minnesota was not that great.
No.
I mean, you had the Randy ratio, that expired clock on the draft pick, Love Boat.
Love Boat was the first thing.
They only made the playoffs once. They didn't win more than 9 games in a season with him. I mean, I know he's not going to be the head coach, but sometimes it's just better to leave the past in the past.
I would agree with that completely. Completely agree with that. What else? I think that's it as far as like new coaching and movement that way. So let's move to training camp, the actual, football playing and practicing and players. It's here. It's happening. Everybody's there. Everybody has reported. I think it was this day 3, 4?
5.
Today was the first day of pads. That much I know.
Day 5.
Day 5 of practice.
Yep. On Monday. This is being recorded on.
Yes, that's a good call. That's a good call. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure the video and the audio are up tonight, and I apologize to the video folks who were a little bit bummed that I was kind of delayed on that. Sorry, my bad, 100%.
Waiting up all night and day for Bleeding Purple podcast.
You can't disappoint the fans, man. You can't disappoint the fans.
What are our fans' names? What are they called? Like the Bleepies or something?
Yeah, the Bleeders.
The Bleeders. Yeah, sure, why not?
We'll go with it.
Oh, boy.
First thing to start with is Pat Elflein is starting training camp on the PUP, the PUP list. It is not the season-ending injured reserve PUP list. It is the training camp PUP list that he can come off of at any time.
Yep.
So don't freak out. Don't panic. I know you're not.
No.
But I'm a little bit freaked out. I'm a little panicked because when he's out and they start shuffling around the offensive line, as they have done in this training camp already, what are we going to be looking at for this season for the offensive line? I'm a little bit worried. Tell me that it's going to be okay and that Elflein's going to come back and everything's going to be fine.
I would like to assure you that it's okay, but offensive line's probably definitely been the Achilles heel of, you could say, of Mike Zimmer's tenure with the Vikings ever since he got here. He just hasn't been able to find a solid, healthy unit. But Elflein doesn't worry me too much because he's not supposed to be not expected to miss that much time. He did apparently have 2 surgeries this offseason, one on his ankle
and then the shoulder
and on his shoulder. And the shoulder kind of worries me a little bit because he said he wasn't really able to, work out and get stronger this offseason like the Vikings wanted him to. So he's still a big dude and strong, but he obviously wanted to get stronger, but he couldn't do that with his shoulder.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see. It'll probably take him a couple weeks to get into, football shape, as people like to say.
I love that you pulled that term. It's one of my favorites. Yeah. Football shape.
Yeah.
Love it.
Football shape.
Kind of shape that allows you to run for 30 seconds and then rest for a little bit.
But no, I also think his absence is good because it allows some of depth guys to get reps with the first team because there's a more than likely chance that some of those guys are gonna be used at some point in the season. So it's better to get them these reps now and get some continuity with the first team guys because I think they had Tom Compton and Danny Isidora rotating in the left guard. They did that again today.
And Hill has also been missing time because he's sick, has he had
food poisoning or something.
See, even this is I know that's not a long-term issue, and I shouldn't be worried about that. But with those 2 guys out, and you look at what the starting offensive line would look like, that's terrifying, man. I don't know how many games you can win with.
So he was out. Unit. Yeah, Hill's been out. He's been kind of the past 2 practices, I believe, 3 and 4. He was trying to give it a go, but he kept throwing up and stuff. So he had to stay off to the side. But so today he just sat out completely, and rookie Brian O'Neill filled in for him. And that's good. I think that's good for him too to get those reps in as a rookie to just get in there, even if he's not going to start or anything. It's good for the Vikings to see what they can get out of him. And apparently he's gained some weight over the offseason, so that's good. Yep. He's bulked up. He's still super athletic. Because that matters a ton for an offensive lineman. But
that's one of my favorite. I was just gonna say that. That's one of my favorite Twitter is. Oh, he's too small, and they reached in the second round to get him, And then he puts on weight, which is what you would assume that people want because he's too small. And then he puts on weight, and people are like, well, now they're taking away from his athleticism, which is like the most important thing that he has, and the reason they drafted him that high.
Yeah,
it's like
15 pounds really slows you down.
for real. Pump the brakes, y'all.
All muscle, obviously.
For real. He can pay for a trainer. So.
But speaking of like offensive linemen gaining weight or whatever, have you seen like every offensive lineman who used to play in the NFL, how they lose like 100 pounds
As soon as they're done playing, yeah.
Like Matt Burke looks not anything close to what he looked like on the field.
Who is the Saturday on Jeff Saturday on ESPN?
Yep.
He is also much, much smaller than he was when he was playing.
I think Joe Thomas has already lost like 50 pounds. So yeah, once you like, apparently in the NFL, these guys must just like eat like KFC all day.
It's crazy. And it's also a nice reminder that humans aren't supposed to like be built like that or do this to their bodies. It's like we're not designed for this. It's stressful and can cause long-term health issues for you.
Yeah.
Who else was missing time? Stacey Coley was also missed I think he just missed the one practice, did he not?
He's missed 3 in a row.
3 in a row now.
Yeah, he practiced the first day,
and then
passed. Yeah, wait, let's see, 2, 3, 4. So might be 4 in a row now.
Really? So, and that is they said that's a groin issue, which is not the same injury that he suffered during the spring, because that was like a heel thing, right?
Yeah, he hurt his heel.
Yeah.
So now it's a groin, which could be from like conditioning and the heat and stuff like that. But apparently they want to wait until he's 100% before they bring him back, which, with those kind of injuries, you're not really sure when that's going to be. It's not like a bone where it heals right away. But I'm guessing the hope is that he's probably, back in time to get ready for the preseason game.
Yeah.
But if not, that's not good for him because he's obviously competing for a spot on the roster.
Lose your spot.
Yeah, his. I think they like him. I think the Vikings like Stacey Coley, but
I think so too.
You can't make the team.
Yeah, well, they like Teddy Bridgewater too. So
the tub. Yeah, right. Coley's a little cheaper though.
Yeah, a little bit, maybe a little bit less divisive amongst the fan base, perhaps.
No, there's a big section that's really divided on Stacey Coley. I don't know if you've noticed, but
yeah. Sorry. What else? Injury wise, Coley missing a little bit of time. Oh no, you know what I wanted to talk about was wide receiver stuff, and the big number 3 wide receiver spot is kind of one of the important battles of camp, I guess. But I noticed, I think it was either today or yesterday, that with the number 1s, Treadwell was getting a little bit of time. Wright was not.
Yeah,
what do you make of that?
I noticed that too. I don't know if it's either he's not up to, got the playbook down or whatever. But I mean, all these guys are learning pretty much a new playbook this year.
It's all new. Like it's a new offensive coordinator.
I mean, there's some similar stuff, but I think Treadwell is really the guy they want to be as a third receiver. He did well today too in their 5th practice. I think he caught a couple goal line touchdowns from Cousins, so that connection actually seems to be pretty real, like Treadwell was talking about.
What a time to be alive.
Weeks ago.
Treadwell and Cousins.
There was a reason, I guess he was excited, and there's a reason for that, and it showed today. I don't know if that'll continue on. Got to wait until the season to see if that connection, is really there.
Yeah.
I think the Vikings have always wanted Treadwell to be number 3, if not for, his catching skills, but his run blocking too. He's a really good run blocker. Obviously, you don't want your receiver on the field just to run block, but,
yeah,
he probably wasn't given as many targets last year as he should have been.
I wouldn't disagree with that. It seemed like he kind of like had a reputation, and I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm not there for all the practices and stuff, but he doesn't seem like he deserves that type of reputation, if that makes sense. People shouldn't be looking away from him. Like I don't know. And it seems
Yeah.
like that was kind of the case last year.
He seems like he gets along with all the receivers and stuff, so I don't think there's a problem like in the locker room or anything. But I just noticed when he talks like to the reporters and stuff, he's kind of just like kind of quiet and gives like pretty short answers. So I think he might be a little, I guess you could say shy, but then again, you like look at his like Instagram or Snapchat and stuff, and he's all like, "Ooh, yeah, look at me." So I don't know. I don't know.
It's so
guys.
hard to tell with these kids
These days. Get out of my brain.
Yeah, you can say a lot about Treadwell, but at the end of this training camp, if he doesn't have a spot or isn't playing consistently, it won't be because the Vikings haven't given him an opportunity to prove himself there, because he's getting a lot of run, and that's
he also has to stay healthy.
Yeah,
because the past 2 seasons it's been
good call.
Been something with him health wise.
Yeah,
so he hasn't punched anyone in the helmet yet this year in camp. So
it's just the dumbest thing. I talk about it every
somebody
year.
Else did, but he didn't.
It is so stupid. Don't punch somebody with a helmet on. Rip their helmet off and then punch him in the nose.
That already happened. That happened.
I know. It's every year it happens.
Mike Zimmer had to split it up.
I saw that. Just stay back.
Hey, enough.
And he gets poked in the eye, and he needs another surgery.
A little more. There's probably a little more expletives in there than.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Yeah, I think you might be right. All right. So who else is Treadwell? You said Treadwell is, playing pretty well, which is good.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook is also. He seems to be kind of the belle of the ball right now. He's like flying around.
Yeah.
People are very impressed with the way he is moving, I guess, because he's not wearing a brace. He's not. He just is good to go. So should we take the Dalvin Cook injury concerns off of the table? Do you think are we ready to do that? No, I don't think so.
No, not yet. Not until I think they see him in a game, after, and even in the regular season after a couple of weeks, see, how he's doing. I think Mike Zimmer said today that they were going to kind of keep an eye on him, but that it's good for him to get the pads on and stuff and get some contact since it's been so long. Mm-hmm. But I've seen a lot of stuff where people are saying, if you didn't know that he tore his ACL last year, you wouldn't have known at all.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good to hear.
I think
that's probably the best thing you can hear.
Yeah, I think honestly, and through camp so far, I think that is the most frequently tweeted sentiment from the guys covering it, is that he looks incredible and is flying around. I think almost everybody that's like there has said something to that effect or tweeted something to that effect. I think it's a very good sign.
I think him being off too kind of helped him kind of get a perspective and have more time to look at film and stuff maybe than he would have before, to kind of recognize like what he could do better or like different stuff that defenses were throwing at him. So I think that actually might help him be better in the second year. A lot of people are picking him to be a breakout player in 2018, but I don't think that's that hard of a guess to make, considering how well he started out last year. So
for sure, a pretty decent, not a big sample size, but a pretty decent sample size.
Yeah, I think he was
that kind of.
He was leading the league in rushing after 3 weeks.
Yeah, he was.
So
who else? Or
second behind Kareem Hunt at least.
Yeah.
Thielen and Diggs, obviously.
Yep.
I think Cousins is starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm. I think he was a little shaky the first couple of days, but
I think so too. Yeah.
Sounds like he's getting more comfortable in the offense and with the players and stuff like that.
I remember who I wanted to ask you about. Holton Hill, and DB cornerback. He seems to be playing really well. Has also been working with Xavier Rhodes.
Yeah.
That's a good sign. Xavier Rhodes is good. I bet he could learn something from that.
Yeah, I mean, if Xavier Rhodes likes you and wants you to do well and see something in you, I think that's a pretty good sign for a guy who went undrafted. He's not doing that with, all the other young corners. I don't know. He could be doing that with Mike Hughes, but I don't think so. But Mike Hughes has been getting a lot of praise too, and players are impressed with him. So the Vikings have 2 good rookie corners this year. It's going to make that, cornerback battle or whatever, like even more interesting. They might end up, keeping 6. Maybe move Newman to safety.
Yeah.
Maybe cut Newman.
What do you make of, speaking of safeties, of the weight? What everybody's talking about, how much weight Anthony Harris has put on. What do you think of that? Do you think that plays a different role, or do you think that's going to help him long term? Do you think that carves a spot out for him, maybe?
I don't know. Until he shows that he's, improved on the field, I don't.
Yeah, was size the issue to begin with?
Yeah, I don't think so. And Jaron Curse actually got reps with the first team yesterday in place of Sendejo. So it was Curse and Smith back there for a little bit. So that was a little interesting. I don't know if it was because the Sendejo was hurt, but Sendejo was practicing yesterday and today, and there hasn't been anything about him being hurt. So I think, just giving Curse, that opportunity. So I like that. Yeah. But yeah, the cornerback's going to be interesting because Mike Prefer also said recently that, Mike Hughes is probably going to be the team's kick returner, and then Marcus Sherrills is probably going to be the punt returner.
Yeah, that was going to be the next thing I brought. Yeah, at this point.
Yeah, right now. But, Mike Hughes returns a couple punts in the preseason.
Looks good doing it.
Things might change because I don't. As much as everyone likes Marcus Sherrills, like in the Vikings organization, like wants him to be on the team, you can't keep 7 corners.
Yeah,
6 has to be the maximum, and if you're going to keep Newman,
is there any chance?
It's a battle between Terrence Newman and Marcus Sherrills,
right? Is there any chance that Sherrills makes the team? Like, even if he's not the punt returner, is there any chance that he makes the team, even though he's been playing well and is getting interceptions reportedly?
Against the third team,
allegedly.
Yeah, he's picking off the third team.
I know a lot of people who really like Slaughter, really like Simeon. So
they should tell Slaughter to stop throwing interceptions, and then he might have a chance.
And Everett Simeon looks real not so hot.
Just boring. Yeah, backup quarterback.
There's a reason. I don't know, man. I'm hesitant to say that about anybody now because I said that about Case Keenum last year, and he played pretty well. I was wrong.
Sometimes you catch, fire in a barrel or whatever they call it.
Right. I don't think that's it, but I
shoot fish in a barrel. Fire. Yeah, that's close. You
were close. I got what you were trying to say. Speaking of Newman, he had kind of confirmed what maybe is the worst kept secret ever, was that this is his last year because he's super old and kind of maybe not going to make the team, or he's on the cusp of not making the team.
I think he will make the team. Like, I've named him as like a surprise cut, but I think his experience and relationship with Zimmer really gives him an advantage over some of the young guys. He'll be 40 in September, so it's pretty old for a football player.
Period. Yes, that's just old for football players.
That's old for a kicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just his last one. Hopefully the Vikings can, get him a Super Bowl ring finally.
That would be really cool.
His career.
I would enjoy that.
Yeah, I think all Vikings fans would enjoy getting Terrence Newman a ring.
I think so.
Be his first ring because I don't think he's married and he doesn't have kids. So that's probably how he's been able to stay in the league
for that long, because there's nobody telling him to quit. Do you think, I still am holding out hope that all of these young bucks, defensive back, cornerback wise, are going to play really well. Newman's going to see that, and then Newman's going to retire and then get a coaching job. That's what I want. That's my dream scenario. I just want to keep saying it, throwing it positive
Let's see, they got
into the internet.
Xavier Rhodes, Trey Waynes, Mackenzie Alexander, Mike Hughes, Holton Hill, and then if they want to keep 6, they can keep Newman. So, I don't think 6 is too crazy for defensive backs, considering that Mike Zimmer his base defense is basically a nickel defense. So
exactly.
you probably need more defensive backs than you would with a normal defense.
Yeah.
So I don't think 6 is too crazy.
Do you think that Newman playing safety is like a real possibility for this season?
It could be if that's how they want to keep him on the roster. You know, you mentioned Harris bulking up or whatever, but you know, I think the Vikings would pick Newman over Harris if it came down to it.
Yeah.
Because Newman's he's just a smart dude. Like, he's not as fast as he was, obviously, but he knows, he's seen quarterbacks, you know, what their habits are and where they throw the ball, and he pretty much knows sometimes like where the ball is going to be before the receiver even knows where it's going to be.
Yes,
so.
yes. And also the like translator, to be able to have a guy who knows what Zimmer wants and tell the young guys and how
he's pretty much already a coach.
Yeah, exactly.
For the defensive backs.
And I think that's so valuable. And I think they recognize that. So
yeah.
Speaking of other football players who are playing different positions sometimes, Anthony Barr has been using his hand in the ground to play football sometimes on defensive line.
Skills.
Yes, exactly. What do you make of that? Do you think that is just to help him be able to get by offensive linemen, or do you think this is something that strategically they are going to utilize as kind of a weapon going forward, or what do you make of it?
No, I think it's more the first part that you mentioned, because Mike Zimmer talked today, and I think that's pretty much what he said was like, you know, it doesn't, just because he's working with a defensive lineman doesn't mean we're going to line him up on the defensive line. It's more, you know, he said that he struggles sometimes, you know, when he comes, you know, up to a bigger dude, struggles to get by him. So he's working with the defensive lineman to, you know, work on some pass rushing techniques to, you know, improve that, because I think he has like 1 or 2 sacks in the past couple of years. In college, he had like 20-something sacks.
Yeah.
So he's got the skills. Just, you know, guys in the NFL are bigger and stronger, so you just got to figure out different ways to
develop
to
a second move when his first move doesn't work.
And if you can learn from guys like Everson Griffin and Linval Joseph, you know, you might as well. And I don't think the Vikings are worried about Barr's like skills at linebacker, so I don't think they mind him working with the defensive lineman. But, you know, and it's possible, you know, in the future, maybe this year, Mike Zimmer wants to throw something different and puts Anthony Barr on the line for a couple plays. Or you mentioned today, if someone goes out, you know, Everson has to miss a game or something, they can line him up for a little bit. But I don't think it's not much to make of, like, as most people are looking at it right now. It's like, oh, they're gonna line him up on the line.
Yeah. And it looks that's kind of how it's being presented, as like this is very important and you should all be paying attention that he's doing this. And it's like, well, he's kind of getting some work on some different skills.
Yeah,
that
it's
will
more
help
like
him do his job.
details.
Yeah, I would agree.
Fine tuning.
Yeah. What do you make of, kind of shifting gears now, Stefon Diggs talking to the media about other wide receivers and their contracts? And he basically, I'm going to paraphrase here, but he basically was like, I'm happy for him. It doesn't like matter to me.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we go nuts and we break it down. And what does he mean? And he says he really wants to be here. I saw a lot on Twitter of, well, if he really wants to be here, then he should take a hometown discount.
That's
Which
the
is
stupidest take I've ever heard.
A really frustrating argument to have with people. But go, Adam. Why? Explain why that is the worst idea to take a hometown discount. If he loves teams
so much, then if he wants to win the Super Bowl, he should take a discount. Look at Thielen. I'm sorry, Adam Thielen's
not what Adam Thielen did, by the way.
He's going to probably get a raise next year, anyways. Yeah. Stop with that. And then everyone's like comparing, he's going to get $15 million. That's like what AJ Green gets. Yeah, AJ Green signed that contract like 2 or 3 years ago. So obviously Brandon Cooks isn't worth as much as AJ Green, and obviously Kirk Cousins isn't even worth as much as Aaron Rodgers, who he makes more money than right now.
Yes, we've gone through this before. The most recent contract is always going to be the most expensive contract. Yeah. You can't compare the two. It's an old contract.
Those are dumb. Like, if you're trying to support that argument, those are dumb like points to try and use as facts for your argument to make your point, because this is ridiculous.
It is.
And then for Diggs, he's an NFL player who could get cut, in like the blink of an eye, because the NFL is like that. Like,
and they won't apologize; they'll just cut you. That's it.
If you don't have like guarantees for injury in your contract, or stuff like that, or if you're not valuable to them anymore, if you get hurt, then
off
they're
the field
gonna
issues. If you have some, it's
look at Sharif Floyd, you know.
Yes, and that's what I was just going to say. And not only is he all of those things, he's what was he, a 4th round pick, a 5th round pick?
Yeah.
Like, he is not, like, that guaranteed money is not, like, he ain't a 1st round money guy, you know? Like,
He's
this is
making-
his shot to make life-changing generational money, and you're asking him to
this
be
is your
nice
time,
and take
like-
a discount because he likes it here. Would you, here's
Yeah,
the
what
way
if-
I wanted to frame it. If you, not you specifically, but you as the whomever is trying to argue this point,
Yeah.
you really like your job. You're working there.
Yeah.
You've been there a long time. You really like it. You want a raise. Well,
Yeah.
you like it here, man. Why don't you take a little bit of a discount, a little bit of a hometown discount? Because you said that you really like working here. So you should take less money because you like it. You taking less money will make it easier for us to bring in better people to work with you. You would never do that if you were at work. You would laugh at your boss if they said that to you because you want a raise. You want your money.
Yeah. You'd be like, fine, I'm talented, so I know that my talents can be used elsewhere, so I will take my talents elsewhere because I know somebody else is going to give me the money that I want.
Totally.
And that's what's going to happen if the Vikings don't hurry up and sign Diggs to an extension. Because not only, what if he has like a great Pro Bowl season, that price tag is going to get higher.
Every week that they wait to sign him to an extension,
Yeah.
that number gets
Somebody
higher.
else signs one.
Every week, because there's nothing.
Odell
I don't
Beckham.
think there's anything that he can do right now that would ruin his market value enough to, like, he's gonna, even if he gets hurt this year, like say he tears his ACL, he's still gonna get a ton of money wherever he gets signed.
Look at
in the
Allen
offseason.
Robinson.
Yeah,
Look at Allen Robinson with the Bears. He was out all season last year, and he just got $15 million a year from the Bears this year.
somebody will pay him. Every week they wait, that price goes up.
Because
Do you think
as
they're
much
going to
as
get that done before the start of the season? I'm starting to think they're not.
yeah, I don't know.
The Barr one I almost have no hope for, but Diggs I thought they would get done early.
Usually they like to
Maybe
get
they're
stuff-
waiting for the...
They might do it like in between when like after they do final cuts and like that week leading up to the season they might do that just so they can figure out like exactly who's on their team and stuff.
Yeah, and maybe the plan was to do it right before training camp started and then
Yeah,
stuff
I mean,
happened and we had to
if-
deal with it. And now,
If Odell Beckham signs an extension, I don't think the Vikings can afford to wait much longer because everyone knows Beckham's going to get a lot of money.
yes.
And the Giants, if they don't sign him to an extension, they're even dumber. But
Do
Yeah.
you... Real quick side segment about the Giants. Vikings connection with Pat Shurmur. Do you think that they will be good again this year? Because that, to me, I think they will be. Because I think that, to me, is that's not a bad team. That was a team that had a lot of injuries and a really bad coaching dynamic situation.
I think they can win the NFC East.
Yeah, and you're talking about a head coach who just got that performance out of Case Keenum. Like, he's going to go, and I think Eli's going to kill this year.
Yeah, and Eli doesn't even have to do like a lot of work because they've got Saquon Barkley, who is a beast.
Total beast.
They got Odell Beckham back. Sterling Shepard's he's in there. Shepard, not Shepard's.
Yeah, man, they're going to be good, I think. Maybe not.
I think they're going to be better. They're going to be,
Thank you. That's,
they're going to be what people like to say, competitive.
the buzzwords, you're bringing them all out. I love it. Training camp must be here because we're using words like football shape and
from watching all the player interviews of just cliche after cliche after cliche
stuff. Yep, over and over and over.
I don't really worry about that. I just go about my business one day at a time.
Yeah, I give 110% every week, and we just we take it one day at a time, one step at a time, one play at a time, and just take care of what we can take care of. Take care of our job, We should maybe do that for like a segment in the coming weeks. Is like just as many as you can get. See how long. Like we'll time it.
You can pretend to be you'll pretend to be Chris Thomas, and then I'll be Mike Zimmer.
Yes. That sounds like a very fun exercise. I'm totally interested. What else do we need to talk about? Randy Moss.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you knew this. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he played for the Vikings for a little bit.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just remember him from New England, but
Yeah.
okay, well, cool. Yeah, well, that's good that it ties into the podcast too. Then,
This weekend.
Tell us a little bit.
He's a receiver who will be in Canton this weekend.
Yeah, okay. You know who won't be?
Yeah.
Terrell
Jake
Owens.
Reed.
Yeah, Jake Reed. Also,
Actually, he might be in Canton, actually.
I'll just be at home.
I wouldn't be
I
surprised.
won't be there. So.
Jake Reed was there.
Oh yeah, I bet he would be too.
Big three.
I bet you're
3
right.
deep or whatever.
Do you think that the TO not being there? Do you think that's lame? Do you think that's like petty? Do you think where are you at with that whole thing?
I mean, it's T.O., so...
Exactly. Are you surprised? No.
No, I'm not surprised, but I mean, I thought at this point he would have maybe matured, but apparently not.
It's so funny to me when guys do things
Be the bigger man or something like that. You know?
like Terrell Owens doing this, or Des Bryant in his tweets over the weekend. It's like, you guys, that's why you're here. Like, you got nobody in your camp that can be like, this is what they're talking about. Like, that's why you don't have a football team right now. That's why they made you wait to get into the Hall of Fame.
Well, he might go to the Browns, so you know.
Des?
Yeah.
Oh, could you imagine how much fun that would be? I want him to go to Carolina.
Hard Knocks.
Just
He'll be on Hard Knocks.
add to the dumpster fire that will be the Carolina Panthers this year. Bring them all. I want to watch Carolina burn. I don't know why I don't. I don't know.
I mean, the Browns are a pretty big dumpster fire. So
I don't know, man. Their team sounds pretty confident. I heard one of their players talk about how if they all play well, they could win the Super Bowl. So
that was Jarvis Landry. Mm-hmm. You know, because they won a lot of games last year.
They did not win a game last year, so it's hard for me to believe.
And they brought back the same coach because he's won one game in 2 years
and lost their best offensive lineman.
He's worth bringing back.
We'll be starting Tyrod Taylor, who I like, but
if there's any team in the NFL that people can accuse of just trying to make a profit, you can point your fingers at the Browns. Mm-hmm. They can say that they want to be competitive and stuff, but
it's so hard for me to believe that many different coaching regimes and general manager regimes and quarterbacks can go through that place and all be bad, and then later have success. Doesn't that tell you something about the state of that franchise, where like a Pat Shurmur can go there and be a total disaster and now go someplace else and be amazing, like
yeah, sometimes that's just bad timing. Like Shurmur, that was his first
head coaching
gig, coach. I think he was like Sam Bradford's quarterback coach before that, so it's not like he was amazing. I mean, don't ask Sam Bradford fans, but
got a statue outside of Norman, Oklahoma, man.
Yeah, he's supposedly the Cardinals guy, number one guy this year. They said that.
Shut up! They have already said that.
Yeah, Josh Rosen's fighting for number 2.
Wow, we're all in on Bradford.
And the Jets just Sam Darnold just signed his contract today. So
did they get that language figured out? That's good.
The language, yeah, that's stupid.
Oh, it drives me crazy.
It's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, yes, that's.
What was the Roquan Smith for the Bears? Like, they didn't want to give him a guarantee if he got suspended for the lowering the helmet rule.
Really? No.
Yeah, that was the language that he was trying to fight for, or whatever. That they wouldn't like cut him or not pay him if he got suspended for the new rule.
Which, that's insane. But have you heard?
Which is also something to keep an eye on.
Yes, that new rule, because nobody knows. Even in what was that one story? Was even the refs were disagreeing while they were showing the Eagles what the rule was. Like, what a terrible sign for the rule. Like,
well, hope it'll distract people from catch, because everyone knows what a catch is by now. So.
Obviously, yeah, definitely. Oh, and you know what else I kind of forgot about was how much fun the first 2 weeks of the preseason are when they're focusing on those new rules.
Oh, and they emphasize it.
Oh my God, yeah, and people go nuts. Like, I won't be able to watch this if this is. It's like
they got
like that during the season.
20 personal fouls.
Yeah, yes. We don't want you to hit like that. Please.
Well, it's preseason for the refs too, so they're trying to figure out what is and what isn't. Yeah. But once they get to the season, usually, it's a little more
It
lax.
calms down. Yes.
Depending on who the referees are. But there's a bunch of new referees this year, too.
Because isn't
It's like-
Hercules gone now?
Yeah, he retired. A couple guys did, too. The guy with the index card, he retired.
Oh, man.
So there's like
Oh, yeah,
4 or
but
5
he was also like a college basketball ref.
Yeah,
too,
he
an
is.
NBA ref or something like that.
college basketball, I think, for the Big Ten, I think.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. And then, of course, there's some stuff about, that song that they play before every game still going on.
Yeah, yes. I saw that was tweeted about recently. Was just so excited to see that was being brought up again. Pumped. It's...
As much as the NFL says they don't want to talk about it, and the owners say, like, oh, we don't want it to be an issue, they talk about it an awful lot.
Yeah, well, and I don't think that the NFL is like being dishonest when they say they want it to go away, but I think they're also...
They want their owners to stop talking about it.
Yeah, I think they're also a huge part of the problem with it not going away.
I'm not sure if the NFL hired a new PR person yet. I know they didn't have one when they came out with the original policy, so I don't know if they've hired anyone yet, which is still amazing that the NFL doesn't have
a PR person.
like a PR person.
It's insanity. And that's the thing too, is that it's like you start looking at numbers and ratings and stuff for like this. The NFL is on a different level. Like rating numbers don't apply to them. Like it's not like you're telling us that.
But it's dying.
Yeah, these numbers are going down, and this is happening, and these people are upset, and that it's like
every team made
is
an
on
extra
a new level. Like it's,
$250 million. Every team made an extra $250 million from TV revenue.
Yeah.
Last year, so I think they're doing okay. Have you seen the stands in baseball stadiums recently?
Exactly. It's incredible to me that that's something that is this divisive, I guess, and something that we've talked about this much and consider such a huge issue is not even really taking anything off of the
thinking
top
about it
for
today.
them.
I'm like, I don't understand why it is an issue. Just like if players want to do that, fine. If you want to stand, fine.
Yeah.
But why does there have to be I'm right and you're wrong?
There doesn't. And that's the thing is that
I'm the boss and you're my prisoner.
Yes. Well, and it turns into that's what it is. It's a pissing contest, It's I'm in charge. It's like, well, you don't have a league if we don't play. You don't have a league.
A guy with like Jerry Jones.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing is, what are you talking about? You're talking about 32 of the richest, most alpha male white guy douchebags, and I'm sure some of them are nice, but you get what I'm saying. You don't get to that point. You don't get to have that much money without being kind of a turd who thinks that your way is the best way. So of course this is turning into something that is so far removed from what the actual issue was, just to show power over one another. And to be perfectly honest with you, I think that's a huge part of why that dude in the White House is tweeting about it too, because that's also a power play. Fix it. I'm in charge. I don't like it. Change it. Yeah,
it's it's the only thing he can get. That's a topic his followers or whatever will jump on board with, because everything else has failed. So
and that's the thing too, is he knows that at any point he can just toss a match on that fire and it'll get going again, no problem.
A failing NFL, something like that. But super failing NFL. People watch players practice
for real
during the summertime.
Multi-billion-dollar industry.
People pay to watch people practice.
Yes,
but the NFL is done. I think with training camp, is it not training camp, but spring training for baseball? Do you have to pay to go to those games?
I don't know the answer to that. I feel like you do, but it's a small amount.
About $5.
Yes, it's it's not the same.
But you don't
price.
go there you watch the games. It's not like you're going there to watch them do drills. People pay to watch players hit sleds, blocking sleds.
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna go, and I'm excited about it. I'm guilty, man. It's true. The idea that the NFL is dying is ridiculous, and also the idea that this many smart businessmen
Let's not say smart.
The idea that this many adults can't get together in a room and come up with a way to make this not go away, but come up with a way to have both sides be heard and come up with a compromise. It's insanity. It's insane.
It's their egos.
Yeah.
They've been the top guy wherever they've been pretty much, and they obviously don't like it when they're told otherwise. So
Yeah.
yeah, it should be a fun year.
Yeah. Okay. That's enough talking about that. Ugh,
Songs.
how did we do that? We all of a
It
sudden
was the music portion of our podcast.
Yep, that was it. Okay. What else what are you looking forward to for the rest of this training camp? Like, I mean, I know there are different positional battles, but like, what else are you, I guess, looking forward to? For lack of a better?
I think this is kind of boring, but I think the kicking battle is still kind of even right now.
I'm
Like,
super interested in that.
neither one is doing amazing. Neither one's doing horrible.
Yes.
So that's something that's intriguing. I guess I am pretty intrigued with like seeing if Mike Hughes can become the punt returner, because I just don't think to keep Marcus Sherrills there just as a punt returner, I just don't think that's a good idea. If he was doing kicks and punts, that's
Then-
a different story. But Prefer, clearly wants Mike Hughes to be the kick returner.
Yeah.
So
God, how many years have we been saying that exact thing? There's no way they keep him if
Sherrills?
he's just a punt returner. Yeah, but every
I'm
year he
not
winds up
betting-
making it. It's
I'm not
crazy.
betting against him. I'm not betting against him.
I don't
at
know
all,
how you
because
could.
Prefer still raved about him when he talked to reporters yesterday. He was still like, I love Marcus and all that stuff. So, if they cut him, I don't think Prefer's going to probably be in the room when that happens.
Yeah.
So.
Real quick on the kicker battle, did you know that Daniel Carlson is like 6'4", 220?
Yeah, he's tall.
like a massive human being. He's like a real football player size.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
good.
interesting.
I think that's good for a kicker, because you don't have to kick as hard, or it's easier for him to kick farther.
You'd think so anyways.
Yeah.
They keep saying he's going to be the kickoff guy, and if they're the same, if he and Forbath say they both go 34 for 35 in training camp, and he does kickoffs and Kai Forbath doesn't, he gets that job, right? Because he's a draft pick, because he's got the other what will it take for Kai Forbath to win? Carlson would have to be so bad
Yeah, I
for
think so.
Forbath to win that battle, right?
Yeah. And there's no guarantee that Forbath is going to be. I think if they both do poorly, I think they'd pick Carlson.
Yeah.
Just it'd have to be clearly Forbath is the better option, which I don't think the Vikings want to see, because they used a draft pick on a kicker, which they should have never done in the first place.
Never done in the first place.
But
that, I think he's, God, it's like I want it to be a battle, but I feel like at the end of the day, even if Kai Forbath totally out kicks Carlson, I still feel like rookie's going to get the job, and that feels like Blair Walsh 2.0. That feels like a season and a half of what did we do? Why did we do
based on what everyone's reporting, Vikings are going to have two kickers this year. They're going to have a kick returner and a punt returner. Anthony Barr is going to play defensive line.
Yep.
Pat Elflein's never coming back.
There's going to be a wildcat package with O'Neal.
Yep. They're going to have 8 wide receivers and 7 corners.
Yes.
Anthony Harris is going to start at safety. Dalvin Cook is going to carry the ball on every play, and Kirk Cousins is horrible.
Yeah,
So
sounds
that
good. I
would be
mean,
good.
Cool. Well, see you next season. Good talk.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
that felt good. Yeah, honestly, though, I don't... it's frustrating training camp time because people do the overreaction, and of course we have to overreact. And
Is it hot out there, by the way?
yeah, it is. It's pretty hot.
Because Kentrell Brothers was throwing up today, and a lot of people were saying it was because of the heat. So I guess it could be.
Yeah, it's pretty hot. It wasn't as humid as it normally is, so I don't know.
Yeah, they had pads on today, so obviously
Oh
it's
yeah,
gonna be.
good call. It's probably worse than it would be otherwise.
So, but that stuff always bothers me because of Corey Stringer, obviously. But
I've done that once. It was the worst thing ever. Throwing up because your body's
you're
like,
dehydrated.
yeah, well, just your body's like basically shutting you down. Like,
So then
it's
you
like,
even become even more dehydrated.
Yep, it's the worst. It was awful. Remember it like it was yesterday.
Good times.
Yeah, it's only going to get hotter. August is showing up.
Yep.
So
Well, they play indoors, so
yeah, that's true, and they do have
It gets
the indoor
super
practice
hot.
facility.
yeah, and stadium. Yeah.
Yeah, that place is ridiculous. Oh yeah, also to you and to audience, I will be going to training camp to the TCO Performance Studio. I always want to call it the
Center.
Performance Studio. It just feels better for me to say Performance
There
Studio.
is, I think there is. That's what their studio is called.
That is like the TCO.
Where they have like PA and all them in there.
Oh, the TCO Performance Studio. Oh, because I listen to Sports Talk Radio. I bet that's why it was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I won't say that anymore. Now I forget what I was going to say.
You're going to be.
I'm going to be there on the August 8th and 9th.
Next weekend.
I believe. Yeah, next week. Wednesday and Thursday.
Next
week.
week. No. 2
Wednesday,
weeks.
Thursday.
So right before their
Not this
preseason
week,
game.
next week. Yes, right before the Saturday preseason game.
Against Chase Keenum and the
Chase
Denver
Keenum
Broncos.
and the Denver Broncos. And John Elway. So yeah, I'll be there. That's some news.
All right.
You know. That's
Looking
official.
forward to
now.
it.
I couldn't say it before because it wasn't official, but that's official now. So I'm excited
Ooh,
to watch drills,
Top secret.
and practice. Yeah, but it's no big deal. But I mean, it's pretty secret. It's a pretty big secret.
now you can like report on like Kirk Cousins throwing a practice interception and freaking out like everyone else.
Yes, I can, and yes, I will.
Or you can-
All of that content
you
will be
can
available
report,
on
like-
VikingsTerritory.com.
How athletic, offensive linemen look and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna do all of that. And I'm gonna and I'll get a quote from somebody that'll be like one day at a time, and I will take that.
Yeah, I feel like you should just like go to camp and just write the most like ridiculous takes. Like if Daniel Carlson, if they needed a backup running back, Daniel Carlson probably wouldn't be that bad of an option.
Yes, stop giving away my secrets. That was my stop it. That's the plan, dude. Quit it. Shh. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. All right, man. I guess I will. I got nothing else. I guess I'll see you next week unless you got anything else.
Yeah. No, we'll get back to watching camp and hoping that nobody gets seriously injured.
Knock on wood.
Knock on whatever wood is around you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So far so good.
Definitely.
But yeah. So talk to you next week.
Next week, Skull Bikes. Later, bub.
Skull.